Hello, Captains! This is the Doctor, and welcome to another Star Trek Online video. This video is going to culminate and finish my Fleet Starbase tours that I've been giving. So I have done a series of videos in the past where I have toured every Fleet Starbase that there is to show you guys what is available in terms of fleet gear, because that's a big question that always comes up for people that are not in fleets. They want to know what, for example, is in a fleet to purchase. Why should I join a fleet? What does that actually get me in terms of hardware? So I have done videos on all the Fleet Starbases except K-13. So this video today is going to be about K-13. I had to wait until our fleet leveled K-13 to Tier 3, which is the highest level, to be able to do this tour. But now that our fleet has leveled it to Tier 3, we have a fully Tier 3'd K-13. I can now do a full tour of K-13 and show you what is available on K-13, which is the latest starbase for fleets. So if we go to the fleet menu here, the holdings, Fleet Holdings is what they're called. I've done a video on the dilithium mine, the embassy, the research lab, the spire, and the starbase. Now I'm going to put a link to each and every one of those videos in this video in the top right corner. So you can click that top right corner at any time and go watch these past fleet holding tours that I've already done. Very important if you want to learn about those other ones. They're there. It's a series of videos. I'll also probably put this together in its own playlist as well, so you can just watch the whole playlist if you like. That will make things easier as well. I'll put it up there. I'll also put these videos on the main page for a while for those that missed them the first time, so you'll be able to watch. But this is what I'm going to do today is K-13, and as you can see, our base is Tier 3, engineering part of it is Tier 3, and the Xenotech research is Tier 3, all Tier 3. So let's transwarp straight there. The fastest way to get there is going to transwarp. K-13 Fleet Holding transwarp. Where this is actually located is in the Alpha Quadrant, I believe, and you'll see an icon for it now. I think it's still in the Draconis system. I can't show you here on the Galaxy. Maybe I can on the Galaxy map. Here we go. Yes, Alpha Quadrant, and then it's right here in the Draconis sector. K-13 Station 20 Draconis. So that's where it's located. This block way over here to get to it. So when you have it unlocked, like we do, everything open and all, look at all these neat things. We get these little Gekly things. They're not Gekly. They're Farpoint station things. I don't know the name of them. Do they have a name? I'm sure they have a name. I just don't remember it. But they're out there. Look at that. Our space is filled with them. It's so pretty. It's beautiful. They're friendly, thankfully, or we'd have a real problem. We've also got other ships here, which is interesting. Look at all these Starfleet ships taking out asteroids for us. Taking out the debris. Is that a player? I don't know. Yeah, that is a player. Got it. No, it's not a player. Weird. No, I just got all kinds of ships here. Oh, there's a Gekly. Look at all these ships here. So we got a lot. Look, they're taking out asteroids, and these are TOS ships out here too. If you look at them closely, like let me loop around back here and show you. These are TOS ships. There's a Perseus class escort. See that? Isn't that cool? So here's the starbase itself, hiding among the asteroids, and it's all repaired now. Once you level it all up, it becomes fully repaired. Look at it. Very cool. It's classic TOS design. So let's go down to it and show you what's available. Here's the tour of K-13 all put together. Naturally, you have the transporter pad, and it's all together now. No sparks flying around, no empty panels. Everything is nice and clean and put together. And I love the colors. Look at this. The purples, the greens, the blues. Oh, look at that purple. That purple is so enticing. The colors here are what make TOS pop. I mean, back in the 60s, they knew how to light a set. Very, very, very funkadelic. Very, very funky. Alright, so we have an officer of the watch right here at the transporter room. See what he offers. He has a daily, so all these starbases usually have a daily that you can do. Operating a starbase always requires a wide variety of tasks. Help keep the starbase running smoothly. Speak to the officer of watch for rewards. You get 20 fleet marks for doing this daily. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. Basically, you just have to do what he says. Scan usable resources, system space. So I'd have to go back up into space and scan some stuff. 20 fleet marks for it. It's not a lot. I don't know that a lot of people do these Officer of the Watch dailies because there's better ways to get fleet marks. You get a lot more fleet marks doing the fleet queues than you do the daily. But it's there if you want to do it, so that's a thing. This should be an easy one. Looks like the sensors are picking up some useful materials in the sector. Head out and scan them and report back. What's the story with all these Klingons walking around? Before the station was pulled into the time rift, we had an incident with the crew of a Klingon ship. They were being held in our brig when the rift happened. When we came out of the rift, we were in the 16th century. We did everything we could think of to get back to our time, but nothing worked. Eventually, Chief Engineer Nicholas rigged a bunch of experimental stasis pods to keep us alive until someone found us. That included the Klingons. I think they appreciate that we didn't just leave them in the brig to die. They've been pretty civil since. For Klingons, that is. So there's Klingons walking about. Look at that picture of the Enterprise. That is so cool. Or Constitution class. We have a bank, an exchange, and a mail right here. And apparently this guy has lost the means and ability to sit in chairs properly. So there's that going on. His legs are in the floor. We have the docking master. So that just brings up all your ships and allows you to switch out of ships and shuttles and so forth. So that's convenient right here. This room has been repaired. Remember, there was a fight here in the actual episode we played. Now it's a conference room. And look at the classic controls and sets they have. This is beautiful. We have the central area here with a nice thing. Monument thing, I don't know. Sitting area. We have the bar area. This is so cool. It's a nice little area. What does this do here? Open shutters. Oh, it opened these shutters. Look at that. And you can see outside the space station. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Love it. Love it to death. All right. Now, this station is shaped a little weird. So let's go... Well, let's just go out this door and walk around the circle, I guess. Starting here at the end. There's basically only 2 rooms, if I recall correctly, to go into. So it's not really that complicated. Let's go into this room first. So here is what you will find. Talk to the Xeno equipment vendor. This is what you'll find here in the store. This is what you would want to come here for. These are engineering consoles, is that correct? Yes, these are engineering consoles. It even says engineering right there. Duh. Read the text. Me. Xenotech Resilience Module Mark 12. Xenotech Drift Module Mark 12. Xenotech Power Flow Module Mark 12. So what do these do? A Resilience Module. It has a kinetic damage resistance rating, an all energy damage resistance rating, and a starship shield hardness. Reduces damage taken by shields. Grants a 5% reduction to specialist bridge officer ability recharge time. What's the difference between these? They all say the same thing. Why are there 3 of them? And they're the same price. Oh, they have different things on them. Okay, this one is Starship Shield Hardness. This one is Starship Hull Penetration. Improves hull penetration for Starship weapons. Grants a 5% reduction to specialist time off. So all of these have the same kinetic and all energy damage resistance, but then the resilience ones have a shield hardness, or a hull penetration, or a hull regeneration. I like this hull penetration one. That's pretty cool. Then we have these drift modules. Looks like this is hardness, but flight turn rate. That makes sense. Drift module. So this is flight turn rate plus hardness, flight turn rate plus hull penetration, and flight turn rate plus hull regeneration. Same scheme here as above, just with turn rate instead of resistances. And then you have power flow. I'm guessing that's going to be EPS. Yep. Power transfer rate with shield hardness, power transfer rate with hull penetration, and power transfer rate with hull regeneration. So there you go. No longer, and this is probably what I'm going to get, is the power flow modules. No longer do I need an EPS console. These have been rendered useless, plus they only have one ability attached to them, power transfer rate. I'm probably going to end up now getting rid of my EPS flow regulators and getting these power flow modules instead. And I'll probably get something like, I don't know, hull penetration, especially for ships that I want to do a lot of damage with. I might get hardness on a ship I want it to tank. I don't know about hull regeneration, but probably I'm going to go with hull penetration or hardness, depending on the ship I'm using. And since it includes a power transfer rate in that, it's like having an EPS. Now, it's not as much. It's only plus 28.3%. But these are Mark 12, and they're not gold level. They're not epic. So I'm guessing they can be upgraded to Mark 14 epic. And then that power transfer rate will go up. I'm not sure at what level that goes up to, though, when it's upgraded. I'll have to find out. But these would be beneficial to me. This is what's going to replace the EPS consoles on all my ships. So that's cool. But then they have the other ones too. If you need flight turn rate. Resistances, I'm going to tell you, are not as useful. Probably better to spend your resources elsewhere. Kinetic and all energy damage resistance. And that's not a lot of resistance right there. That's very small. That is really not going to make much of a difference. You're probably better off doing something else like the power transfer rate, or if you need the flight turn rate. So that's the consoles on this station. That is very, very cool. I like those. Now we have kit modules. Some of these I've already looked at, and what I may do, because I think I own most of these except for a couple of these, what I might do is make a separate video where I equip all of these modules and go demonstrate them for you, because that would be a good follow-up video, because I have used some of these, like the Kligat up there. I've used that thing, and that is really cool. It is a single target throw attack, 100% shield penetration, but it looks like they've removed the critical on it. It used to crit every time you hit. Have they removed that? Let me know. I think I was reading something about that it does not crit, but it used to crit every time you hit. At least it has 100% shield penetration still, and it does physical damage. It's a fun weapon, but people were really liking it because it critted every time you used it. They might have removed that ability, though. Maybe they thought that was a little too up. Had to nerf it, right? The Kelvin Stasis Belt. I have not used this. It's a fragile hold. I don't really like things that are a fragile hold. They don't work so well. And it's a damage resistance debuff. I'll have to try that out. We've got the Staff of Landru. I have tried this out. It's a cone, AoE damage, and confuse. It does physical damage. It's interesting to use. I don't know how much it helps, but it's a very interesting weapon to use. I will show that to you guys sometime too. The Methuselah drone, I have not used this. It's a level 60 drone. It does radiation damage times 3 per second. So I haven't used that. I'll look forward to that. Oh, and the Nomad drone. I have not used this either. Creates a level 60 Nomad support drone for 120 seconds. I guess it's like one of those support drones, but the Nomad instead. If you're not familiar with Nomad, it was an episode of Star Trek, the original series. So was the Staff of Landru. So those would be interesting to try out. I've done a couple of them, but I will end up probably getting all of them and then doing a demonstration video for you guys. I think that would be very fun. And we can see what those are all about. So that's here. Now what does this person have? This is the biologist. Ah yes, trait enhancements. So this is something new and no other station has. But here you can get trait enhancements. For example, superior accurate. You will need to move, let's see. It doesn't tell you what the values are here, unfortunately. I wish it would tell you what the values are before you buy it. But basically, it's like your traits, but just a superior version of that trait. So it enhances your traits and make them better. Very expensive. 100,000 fleet credits, 21,250 dilithium. These are not cheap, and if you wanted to get all of them, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But it enhances those traits. So you have superior elusive, superior mental discipline, sturdy, tacky, astrophysicist, acute senses, peak health, superior resilient, beam training, cannon training, projectile training, pistol training, rifle training, assault. So I think the ones I would start on first would be these ones that are like beam training. Because, for example, if you go to your traits, like I'm using, am I using beam training? I think I am. Yeah, see, I'm using beam training as a trait. That's a plus 5% beam weapon damage. I mean, that's how you get more DPS, right? You use these traits. Well, this one should give you more. Superior beam training. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you how much more. I wish it did. I guess you have to purchase it before you can find out how much it's going to enhance it. But, like, getting this should be more than plus 5%, so there you go. You have now a higher beam training. And then I would also go then on the ground. If you do a lot of ground, I would get, you know, a rifle or assault or pistol, whatever you're using on ground. I'm not using a ground trait to buff that. I do have projectile training on, so I could get projectile training superior. But just depending on what traits you use. No, wait, here's ground up here. Oh, I do have ground. I have, yeah, I've got rifle training. I guess that's what I'm using. So I got plus 5% rifle weapon damage. So I'd get superior rifle training, and that should increase that. So look at the traits you're using and come here and get a superior version of it. Again, I don't know what the percentage is. If anybody knows, post it in the comments for all of us to know, and I'll pin it. If I can find it in the comments, I will pin it so that everybody knows what you actually get out of here, because yeah, that's interesting. I want to know too. But that's something interesting right there, something unique you can get and improve your personal traits. Will cost you a fortune to do all of them, but something to just buff your character even more. And I'm sure the hardcore of us will do that. I'm sure I'll do that. You know, I want those traits. I want some superior traits. This little guy here, he was from an episode as well. Talk to Balak's puppet. We are now considering the disposition of your ship and the life aboard. Okay, that's great. We got some tribbles. A little furry creature. There's really nothing back here. What was that? Interact thing. Talk to biologist. So it's on the other side. Okay, so that's this room. We got consoles and traits. And kits. Kit modules. Or kits. That's cool. Alright. Now we just have one more room, literally. That goes back into the main area. Here we go. This is the last room. This is what is available here. We got 3 people to talk to here. Let's just go in order. Personnel officer. Okay, so we've got bridge officers, 23rd century bridge officers. So if you're trying to build a 23rd century character or you're using that faction, you can get those 23rd century officers here so they play the part. And Dorian, Human, Tellurite, Vulcan, all here, and they're very rare. We've got all very rare bridge officers, so good traits, good abilities on these things. You can scan over them and see what they have. Engineering, science, tactical, a couple of each actually. And they're going to have different space abilities and different ground abilities. Are any of these superior though, or do they have that trait? I don't think so. Now, this is a K-13 Survivor Engineering. It says increases skill-based stats. Increases shield power level, shield repair, and shield damage resistance. So that's very cool. So that's emergency power to shields, duh. So this Survivor thing just increases skill-based stats. Okay, so that's the unique ability that these have. Increase skill-based stats. Increases skill-based stats. Skill-based stats. That one's dancing. Skill-based stats. They're all increases skill-based stats. So that is a unique ability that these have, is all your skill-based stats are increased. It doesn't say to what. Oh, here we go. Okay, so these are space traits, first of all. Intensive focus and respective discipline. Alright, so we've got plus 10 to impulse expertise and plus 10 to EPS, to power flow. Are they all the same? It's looking that way. No, they're not all the same. Okay, so engineering is plus 10 to impulse expertise and plus 10 to EPS. Science is plus 10 to control expertise and plus 10 to drain expertise. Tactical has a plus 10 to defense maneuvering and a plus 10 to weapon accuracy. So there you go. That's very cool. Oh, they're even different. Okay, they keep going. Okay, that's what an Andorian gives you. So by species, they're different too. Human gets you a plus 3% starship hull regeneration, a plus 5% starship hull regeneration, a plus 20 resistance rating to duration of subsystem offline. A human science gives you plus 3, that's the same. Hull regeneration, resistance rating to duration, engineering, science. Hull regeneration, resistance rating to duration of subsystem offline. Well, that's the same. So humans is all the same. Andorian was different, but humans are all the same. What did Tellarites do? Tellarite engineering is impulse and EPS. That's the same as the Andorian. Control and drain, that's the same as the Andorian. And tactical. Defense and weapons. So the Tellarites are the same as the Andorian. The humans are different, but they're all the same throughout the careers. Let's see what the Vulcans do. It's a little confusing. Vulcan is also the same as the rest. So really, it's just the humans that are different. Wow. Yeah, it's just the humans that are different, and they're all the same across the human career path, but all the rest are the same. So that trait, by the way, is a passive trait. It just automatically happens, but you have to have the bridge officer in an active role, meaning you have to have it in your stations. You have to have it slotted with powers on it that you're using. Only when it's slotted in your actual station will its space trait work for you. So keep that in mind. So that's what that gives you. That's what those do. So that's pretty cool. We've got some special things here. We've got an Android Engineering Officer candidate, and boy, these are expensive, 160,000. This has a space trait too. It is plus 15 to impulse expertise and plus 15 to EPS, so even higher here on this specialized one. This is Andrea type Android Engineering Officer candidate. Let's see what interesting things she has. Nothing really interesting on the stuff here though. Yeah, nothing out of the norm. Her ground ability, revive self when defeated, because I guess it's a robot or android. High resistance to toxic psionic radiation confused, because it's an android. So it's got a ground ability too. don't forget about the ground abilities. I didn't look at that above. Because they also have ground abilities I forgot about. But it looks like their unique trait is space abilities. Dr. Brown android has same plus 15 to impulse, plus 15 to EPS. And I'm just looking at the powers here. Superior android, robot 3, revive self when defeated. Superior seduce. That's interesting. So that's an interesting power. Superior seduce. Wow, so that's some special stuff you can get here. We've got uncommon duty officers, if you're into that. We got rare duty officers. We got very rare duty officers. So all the duty officers you want to get. And then training manuals for the powers. These are 23rd century Starfleet powers, so you can keep thematic with the whole theme if you've got a 23rd century character. Photon mortar, quick fix, stasis beam, medical tricorder, photon grenade, science team 3, engineering team, tactical team, emergency power to engines and shields and weapons, and a tractor beam, and fire at will, and overload, and high yield, and spread. All the same powers that you find otherwise. I don't think that these really differ from anything, except they're just labeled 23rd century. They pretty much are the same thing. Same powers. And they do cost fleet credits. The only thing that would be different, the photon mortar looks different than the other mortar. I don't really know else how these differ. If these do differ in some way, let me know, but I'm not sure. But that's what you can get here from this person. This person is a Tailor. So you can just do regular Tailor stuff, but she's also got a store here for a 23rd century jumpsuit and an XO3 outfit. So the 23rd century jumpsuit looks like that. And then the XO3 outfit looks like that. So that's what it looks like. Some unique costumes you can only get from K-13. And they're not too expensive here to purchase. And finally, we've got this person, retrofit equipment requisition. So this is going to be the retrofit equipment. Let's start with ground weapons. We've got the Federation Type 1 phaser, like the original TOS Type 1 phaser. We got abilities here: stun, crit X, damage times 3, stun damage times 3, dot 3. We've got stun damage times 3, KB3. Then we have a wide version of that. Then we have the Type 2 phaser that you've seen before. And we have different modifiers on that. But then it goes up. We've got Advanced Fleet Disruptor Pistols. So interesting that we have Disruptor Pistols. Maybe that's because of the Klingon influence. I'm not sure. But Disruptor Pistols with abilities as well. And then we have Split Beam. Split Beam. Oh, we got the Advanced. Okay, these are like those Mark IIIs. We've got Split Beam here. We've got High Density. And then Type 3 Phaser Rifle. That Type 3 Phaser Rifle. But you can get a really good version of it now. And upgrade this further. And then Advanced Fleet Disruptor Rifles. Advanced Fleet Federation Full Auto Minigun. So a ton of weapon options, all TOS related. This weapon has a secondary fire mode that projects a field of energy that damages several targets in front of you. Yeah. That's the Type 1 phaser. The Type 2 phaser. Yeah. I was hoping it would tell a little bit more about the phaser, the weapon itself. Just telling about the secondary fire mode. But these can be upgraded. Again, I haven't tried any of these, but maybe in the future I will try some of these and figure out what I like here. I think I might like the Type 3s. I really like the look of the Type 3. But anyway, a ton of TOS-related weaponry here. And interesting that it's a disruptor energy. I'm not sure why that is disruptor instead of phaser. Not sure, unless it's like experimental weaponry or something. Then we have space weapons. Oh, look at this. We got a lot of space weapons here, guys. This is, again, retro space weapons, so it's going to have, you know, like the blue look and probably sound to it. Not sure, but we've got advanced fleet, so these are advanced fleet phasers. And it is phaser. Got accuracy damage times 3, accuracy times 2, damage times 2, crit D damage times 3, crit H damage times 3. Then you got twin phaser beam arrays, which is basically the same as dual phaser. No, that's different. Okay, look at that. We've got dual phaser beam banks, but then we do have a twin phaser beam array, and that's different from a single phaser beam array. I don't know what a twin phaser is. Beam arrays are the most common and versatile weapons. They fire a series of average damage. See, beam weapons are equally effective against starship shields and hull. Phaser space weapons have a chance to knock a single system offline. Note, twin phaser arrays are essentially identical to standard or single arrays. The difference is purely cosmetic. There you go. Okay. So there is no damage difference between a twin phaser array and a single phaser array. Simply that I guess it's going to look like you've got two firing beams instead of one. It's a cosmetic thing, but it doesn't make any difference. So that's just a visual difference if you want to look, you know, physically different from everybody. But then you have true dual beam banks. True dual beam banks are true dual beams. And then you have advanced fleet dual cannons. You've got dual heavy cannons. They keep coming in and out of that door, don't they? Back and forth, driving me crazy listening to that door open constantly. Phaser, dual heavy cannons. We got advanced fleet phaser cannons, phaser turrets, regular photon torpedo launchers. And then we come to some interesting things that we haven't seen before, like disruptor style TOS beam banks. So same thing except disruptor style. We got dual or single disruptor style. This is disruptor energy type. Disruptor dual cannons, dual heavy cannons. So if you want to make a disruptor build, there's plenty of disruptor weaponry here. TOS disruptor weaponry. Then we got plasma as well. So all that cosmetic look of TOS, but in plasma instead. So same thing, all in plasma. We have cannons, turrets, torpedoes. We even have plasma torpedoes. I guess we have... Do we have disruptor torpedoes? I didn't even look. You know, I don't think so, no. So that's interesting. We do not have a disruptor torpedo. We've got beams, cannons, heavy cannons, turrets. So there is no such thing as a disruptor torpedo. But we do have plasma torpedoes, of course, and then regular torpedoes. And that's it. Okay. Wow. So that's a bunch of these guys are... Look how many of them are. They just keep going in and out of that door, in and out of that door, in and out of that door, and it's driving me up the freaking wall. Back here, there's really nothing here to note. Oh, well, these must be the cryo chambers. Look at that. There's still people in them, and they're hovering. That's scary. That's actually real scary. That's interesting. Alright, let's get out of here. That's it, folks. That is like everything that's here. I know because I've looked everywhere else. There's no other places to go in the hallway, and then all these doors just lead back into this main area is all that does. Loops around, and you can't get up there. See that door up there? I was like, I want to go up there and see what's up there, but there is no up there, which is a shame. I'd like to get up there and see what's up there, but it doesn't go anywhere. So that is K-13, guys. That is a full tour of K-13. That is what you get from K-13. Is there anything in the bar area? No, and usually that is unique. Usually there is something in the bar area, and most of the bases I've been to, there's like foodstuffs and stuff you can get from the bar area. But here, there is nothing in the bar, so it's very, very. There's not as much stuff in K-13. I guess that's what I want to walk away with. There's not as much stuff as I thought there was going to be in K-13, especially compared to some of the other bases. There's just not as much here. But what stuff is here is appealing. You can do a good disruptor build. I like some of those engineering consoles. Those kit module things look interesting. And obviously, if you are role-playing or doing the Starfleet faction of the 23rd century, this is the place to come to keep thematic with your 23rd century build. You can get those classic phaser beam arrays, classic torpedoes, and get good quality gear here. And of course upgrade it. So this is how you keep thematic with that faction of Star Trek if you want to do that. Otherwise, very cool. That's what's here, folks. There's really nothing else to show. This is going to conclude my tour of all Starfleet bases for fleets. So that's the fleet holdings. I've now looked at everything: Dilithium Mine, Embassy, K-13 Research Lab, Spire, and Starbase. Again, all the other videos I've done are linked in the top right corner. You can check those out, and now you know what is available in a fleet holding. That will help you determine if you want to join a fleet or not. I hope this has been helpful to some. This will help you decide if you want to join a fleet to get some of this gear. That is all up to you, but now you know what's there, so you can decide those things for yourself. Thank you all for watching this series of videos. This concludes it. If they come out with another fleet holding in the future, then I will just make another video and add it onto this. Otherwise, this is the end for now. That has been K-13. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think of these bases and all this equipment and stuff available here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.